Gold Rush. I hope you're having a great week. Just wanted to give you the highlights of our leadership team meeting on Tuesday. Feels like a long time ago, but I will try the best I can to remember what we talked about. Two big topics for this week. We talked a little bit about the process of class placement and also where we're at in terms of word study programs for next year. So with regard for class placement, we just shared the reminder that parent input should be submitted to me so that we can keep all of that information in one spot. The detailed process went out to you in a reminder email about staff development for Wednesday, so you should have access to that. I know parents do come to you and share with you their ideas for next year, and just wanted to make sure that classroom teachers were redirecting that to us. We also talked about using our next two staff development sessions, so really starting that next week. And we talked about what was essential for the grid. We placed kids, we were going to divide them by teachers. That sort of helped us view if classes had equal numbers of boys and girls and behaviors. So just talked about that process and what would be included in that grid. We are going to prepare that and send that out to you so you can take a look. We also talked about next week just reviewing that quickly and giving teachers that first session to divide their kids with also some notes on the bottom from GT and SPED and RTI about kids that might be placed together and giving teachers the opportunity to go forward and do that. So you'll see all of that being emailed to you next week. And we're excited to start that process and move through that hopefully quickly. The second part that we really spent some time looking at was just word study. We shared our beliefs and our purpose and what we were hoping for in programs and the real philosophy that we wanted word study to continue kindergarten through fifth grade, and really making sure that we had a program that naturally transitioned from phonemic awareness and phonics in the primary grades to more of vocabulary and really looking at spelling at all the grade levels. So that was really our purpose. You can see in the document below sort of our belief statements, the criteria, some of the programs we were looking at. Out of all of the programs, Tammy Simpson and Jamie Marchese and also Stephanie Brown were really sharing the work that they've done with Orton Gillingham. It's a very targeted program, very multi-sensory approach, and really seemed to fit sort of what we were looking for. We have Bree Roon, who's going to be our new PLS next year, and Stephanie are going to take some training, and we really seemed excited about that resource. So that seems to be the front runner. We will still get all teachers' input in May when we look at that program, but really we're leaning more towards that program. Like I said, Stephanie and Tammy's already taken the training, but Stephanie and Bree are going to be taking that later this month and going to be reporting back. I'm looking into training with some summer training or that first week. It does just to make sure that's an essential component of the program and that's feasible. It does come with all materials and an assessment, and the leadership team really loved that resource. It seemed to be one that was really meaningful and like I said, met all of our criteria. So more to come on that in May. We're still digging in and doing some homework. We always want teachers to have choice, but this seemed to be sort of a definite front runner based on what we looked at. So Tammy has those resources. I'm sure she wouldn't mind if you're really passionate or interested about that, sharing some of that. Like I said, we'll put that out to all of our teachers more in May, but just wanted to give you an update on that. The other things we really talked about in staff development this week, we talked a little bit about an update on our PLC day. We will provide some options, as you can see above in the Barker, of coming together and meeting together, but also a virtual option. And our morning will really be centered around science. We did look at new standards for this year, but we're really going to be digging into that STEM scopes in the morning after a little bit of team building. And in the afternoon, it's a little different from our last PLC day. Our last PLC day was a teacher work day in the afternoon. This one is a professional development day all day. So we are going to give teachers time to work on that state training because that is extensive, but the expectation is really that we're using that afternoon and really digging in, whether you're in that first session or second one, but that we're really using that afternoon time to get some of that work done, because otherwise we're going to be in a tough spot really trying to get it all done by January of next year. So that's an overview. You can see the agenda above if you don't mind filling out that survey. And those were our highlights. We're going to meet again in 2 weeks and go through our schedule. We are looking at scheduling a 30-minute word study to really be able to implement that K through 5 days a week. So that's a separate time outside of our Readers and Writers Workshop. So you'll see that in our schedule, and just working through the SPED and RTI schedule at this point. So we should be done and looking at that in 2 weeks. So by the end of April, hopefully that will be ready for everybody's feedback. Thanks so much. If you have any questions about the meeting this week, feel free to come see me or see your team leader. Thanks so much for all that you do. Really appreciate you. Have a wonderful rest of the day and weekend.